JB here, May 24th, 2024. Got about 38 minutes to the close. First off, want to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day weekend. Thank anyone who's served or knows someone in service, people who've given their lives, family members. Much appreciated. The world would not be what it is without folks who've done things like that. So, with that being said, let's really quick take a look at a spy. I think it's not 2, 3 days ago. I'm trying to think the last time. Maybe it was even Monday. We had a extremely tight trading range. Take a look at the SPY. Hit a high of 530.27, a low of 527.85. So you start doing the math. Very tight trading range, especially compared to yesterday. Yesterday, you could fit 2.5 sessions into yesterday's trading action compared to what we've had today. So good sign here heading into the holiday weekend. Does that mean people went away? The big money went on already out to the beach or what have you. Who knows? But considering what we had that reversal yesterday, it's a good sign that we didn't have continuation. Hold the line here, maybe 529 or so on the SPY. I think that'll bode well into next week. Again, don't forget markets close Monday, so only a 4 session week. Some of the names, and so I talked about always be hedging. So those Broadcom puts, and then I got some MDB puts. The Broadcom puts paid out yesterday, and then MDB at the open just right out of the gate, all the way down to 345, then all the way down to 342. Was able to lock most of my puts in for some nice profits. And in hindsight, I should have closed the rest right at the lows. I think they hit $4 at one point, but still had them held on to them more as as protection, just in case the markets did roll. So I'll continue to look at those names, and I've said this probably 30, 40 times over the last couple months. After I get the last couple months at least, is to have some kind of position on to at least protect yourself when the calls are not going in the right direction. So I'll continue to do that. DELL, how many times I've talked about DELL over the last couple of weeks. I remember when it was at 115 all the way up to 130. I started doing some research, and you're seeing all the commentary between NVIDIA, their $5 billion backlog, and all the possible tailwinds from AI. But it's been a tough trade. It's not like DELL has done. And I went not saying super SMCI was an easy trade, but it seems like that went, up 100, up $150, up 10%, up 8. Dell goes up 4% at the open, reverses down 3%, and then maybe closes flat. And the next day it's up 6%. It's very tough to hold on to positions, and especially the higher it goes, the premiums start going up. Heading into events with earnings makes it tough to trade on risk reward basis. Hit all-time highs again earlier today, 166.77, down here 160. I continue to look for opportunities to play for earnings next week. I'll probably just sit on my hands into the weekend and go from there. I got, crazy, right? Just hit $100 billion market cap when it broke into the 140s. And I would not be surprised to see it at 210, 220, just on FOMO. So that's some of the things I'll think about over the weekend, and then I'll revisit to add some calls, but just a monster move. Um, yeah, I remember it hit 135, then all the way back down to 116, and I had people message me, "What's up with Dell? Why is it the story's over?" I'm like, at some point it's going to get FOMO, and unfortunately, I wasn't in enough calls to take advantage of the recent move. But live and learn, move on. So that's Dell. Align finally added some calls. Talked about it yesterday. It's one of the stocks that I've traded over. I mean, it's not recently, but one of the names I've liked over the years. Great growth story. Now it has an international spin. Fundamentally sound, no debt, $900 million in cash. Stock had great earnings back at the end of April, all the way up to 330, and it's similar to I'm trying to think of one of the names that, well, AI is not a great example. They report earnings next week, but uh, all the way down to 250 or so yesterday and today on no news or catalyst really. So company has an accelerated stock buyback program. I think it's $150 million. They have an open authorization for over $1 billion in share buybacks. This is a $19 billion company. Growth has fluctuated, so sometimes when it trades into earnings, people looking for double-digit growth. The last quarter, single digits, but I think there's still some tailwinds for Align. So went and got some June strikes. Not sure I'll add any next week, depending on what it does, but sitting at the lower Bollinger Band at 251.85, 251.84 is a lower Bollinger Band. It hit 252.39, so right there. I think it bounces at some point. And when I say bounce, it's going to be up 3%, then it's going to be up 4% the next day, then it's going to be up 4%. And next thing you know, it's going to be back over 285. So that's the thought process there on the line. Grab those strikes. Not much to add here on GPCR. I talked about this morning as well. And they're going to have data before the end of June. Positive analyst commentary this week. JP Morgan just initiated the stock with a $65 price target. JMP Securities, they reiterated a market perform. This is 2 weeks ago, and a $91 price target. The stock's in here at 37 bucks. So, uh, needless to say, I'll continue to hold those strikes. Not going to add anything more. Of course, I would love to see it into the 40s today. I'll have to probably wait till next week, pending any data. VKTX, tough to even see the candles again. It's tight trading range. It's up bare. It's looked like it was going to break out today, then all the way down to nearly flat. I mentioned it the last couple of days when I added those weekly strikes. I'll probably continue just to look to add speculative weekly strikes, and as opposed to adding further out of money strikes, so that once they do post their mash data, I think it's going to be up 90, 100 bucks and go from there. So I'll continue to look for that on VKTX. Not much this here. Not going to talk too much about ENVX. This is a weekend. I'm not going to waste much time on it. It gave back all its gains yesterday, and now it's recouping all the losses today, up nearly 11%. No news. Maybe who knows? Maybe they'll be finally announce some kind of concrete data, in regards to their batteries or partnerships without just releasing generic statements. So not going to talk too much about that one. Trying to think of some of the other names here that I was looking. Some nice call outs in the room. I mean, Kava, that another name similar to DELL. I made some nice money on the calls, but I didn't hold for the bigger move here. But you look at it, it's one of those names that you look at the fundamentals. It's tough to say, hey, it's an 84 or $100 stock, but it's probably going to go to 90, 100, and so on, because people are looking for the next CMG. Same with that SG Sweet Green. They just had earnings a couple weeks ago, all the way up into the 30s. Another name that's probably going to trade at crazy multiples before it finds some sellers. So I'm not going to sit there and try and chase Kava. Folks are in. That's good. Also, take a look at First Solar. Gosh, I remember back in the day when First Solar used to be in the 300s. The whole green initiative. Everybody thought solar was going to be the next wave, and then China flooded the market with wafers and First Solar. I have to go look where it traded down. 20 bucks. I forget where it went, but solar names were all the hype. Then they all just kind of got destroyed, and now they're finally coming back to life. And you look at First Solar, I don't even know what it is. It's probably up a lot this week, 15%. Let's see. It's up 9% today. It's more than that. It's up 38% this week. The low of the week for First Solar was 194.50. It just traded 273.78. It's up 38%. So obviously some massive potential on weekly strikes if you're in those. But I love, similar to some of the biotech names, the green space is nice, right? If solar can somewhat offset some of this other carbon stuff that's going on, coal, things like that. I'm not saying those are all bad, or I'm not going to get into that kind of rant, but anytime we can extract energy from the sun without a lot of emissions, I think that's a good thing. So that's for solar. I think that's about it. So I'll have I'm not going to do EMVX this weekend, so I'll just have a webinar. Probably I'll have it posted Sunday or Monday. Again, wish everybody a happy Memorial Day. Let's have a great weekend. Rock and roll.